Hey there, how you doing? davidinark here, and we are back crashing every vehicle in BeamNG Drive. And today we've got the unpunctual version of the Soliad Wendover. That's right, we are busting up Wendovers in today's episode. Oh, there's a slam into the wall. Now, the front end is definitely messed up, but this bad boy has got some serious reinforcing on the inside, so although there's some cosmetic damage, there's actually a little more than cosmetic damage, the truth is that vehicle survived pretty well. As we move into the 3300, if you're brand new to the series, first of all, thank you so much. And if you've been here before, thank you so much. What we're doing is going through every single vehicle that comes with the vanilla BeamNG Drive. So here we are, crashing into the wall. Oh, that one went at an angle, and look at that. Man, we definitely bent things up, hitting that not square, but on that edge. And you can see it's got that clamshell hood, and it's definitely popped up loose. But we're going through, we're going through every vehicle. All of these vehicles that you see here, they are default configurations that come with BeamNG, and we're taking every single one of them. Look at there, a little peekaboo facelift for the Wendover, and we are slamming each one of these into the retaining wall at the end of this road. And yes, they do get to travel through some sand before they get there. That doesn't really amount to a hill of beans, does it? Oh. I really love the fact that these have that clamshell hood. And if you're not familiar with that, essentially what it means is that instead of the hood opening at the very front end of the car, the hood actually opens from where the hood meets the windshield and flips up. And you definitely get the taste for that as we are slamming these vehicles into the wall. Oh, look at there. This is this is so I would say very early 90s. This is borderline late 80s, definitely early 90s styling with the front end. And oh, that one is a dead hit. And look at that. We've got the front wheels are bent out away from each other. Look at the roof line, the way that thing is all bent up and out of shape. Look at that. If I line myself up with the doors, the roof is completely buckled. Not good for the people in the vehicle. Here we are with the S3800, and what a bizarro color this is. This is not quite orange. It's not quite brown. I don't know. It's almost like rust. You know what? We're just going to let this be the rust color that it'll eventually become anyway. And we've slipped this into the external camera, letting the BeamNG Drive game itself determine the camera angles. What is up with the front thing flapping in the wind? I don't have an answer for that. That's very weird. However, as you can see, the doors are bent out of shape. The frame has bent downward. I talk a lot about the crumple zone effect in a lot of these videos. If you've seen some of the previous videos in this series, we've talked about crumple zones. Again, if you're not familiar with that, essentially the way it works is that the manufacturers intentionally build the frames of the vehicle with targeted weak spots so that when they crash, then it's supposed to help move things away from the passenger compartment. So again, we have the wheels that are bent out sideways, but this is why you get doors that bend out away from the passenger compartment. This is why you get the frame that bends down and or away from the passenger compartment. It's all supposed to be part of passenger safety. Frankly, in BeamNG, I think what it does is make the game freaking awesome. And speaking of freaking awesome, how about the interior of the Wendover. And look at this is, oh my gosh, this is so, again, late 80s, early 90s, you know, all this digital LCD technology, because, you know, who wants an analog anything when you can have digital? And look at there, even the shifter moves in the game. See, you just don't get that in every game that you possibly play. BeamNG, on the other hand, not only does it give it to you, but look at the front end of the vehicle. Look how high the hood has come up the front part of the vehicle. Look at that. Oh my gosh, man, that is some serious force at work, slamming it into the wall. As we move into the SE 4400, and look at there, we are laying down some tracks. This is actually kind of a pretty color compared to, especially compared to the rust one before, but color doesn't really matter when you're driving down the road and slamming into the wall. And oh, we have turtled ourselves. Not only have we flipped upside down, but we actually threw the door off of the vehicle and onto the ground. That is crazy, not to mention the detail on the bottom of the vehicle. It's one thing in a game to have the detail for the top part, you know, for the body and wheels and, you know, all the stuff that is generally visible as you're playing a game. That's pretty normal. In fact, if you were to pull out the 3D models for a lot of vehicles in a lot of games, if you flipped them upside down, they would be completely flat on the bottom. In BeamNG, no, that's all part of it. And here we go. Look at that. Crushed at the front, the wheels shoved back into the body, the clamshell just barely hanging on by a thread as we look. Oh, whoop, and there you go. It's starting to fall apart as the steam is pouring out of the radiator. And what I was going to say was, of course, we've got that roof line completely buckled as well. Oh, look at this. This is, yeah, taking a look under the front end. Oh, okay. I can't really drive this way in case that wasn't apparent. That's all right. That doesn't matter. We are cruising along here, 75, 78. Oh, yeah. Hitting the wall at about 78 miles an hour. Now, I would tell you one thing. The Wendover vehicles definitely are consistent in the results of these crashes. We've not really seen too much deviation from the flattened front end, the buckled roof, the doors that are bent out to the side. You get very consistent results among the different versions of the vehicle here. And this one, almost 80 miles an hour. And man, look at, oh, bent up hood, the wheels pushed back. Look how far the engine is. The engine pushed up underneath the dashboard. I can't imagine being in a vehicle, or as we grab the Sport SE 3800, I can't imagine being in a vehicle. The gold rims, man, that's what makes it. That's what makes this the SE Sport. It's the gold rims, especially the gold wire rims. You checking them out? Oh yeah, that is definitely some old school stuff. But I can't imagine being in a vehicle and just hitting the wall like that. It's really weird, but because of the way that the front end, the way that roof line buckles the way it does, and the front window ending up almost completely vertical, to me, it's this is going to sound so morbid, but it's very hearse-like. I don't know. Anybody else getting that? Just throwing that out there, man. So one of the things that you probably noticed is that this is the same vehicle that we just drove, except this version has a manual transmission where the previous version was automatic. And that's really the only difference between these two. And we are cruising 83 miles an hour. We were up to 86 before we hit the sand. And again, look at the engine crammed up under the dashboard there, and everything else just pushed back into the vehicle. And that's just nasty. It's awesome, but it's nasty. So here we have the 3800 facelift. And again, the facelift just simply means that it's got the retractable light covers for the front end of the vehicle. Not to mention there's a little bit of changes down at the bottom there for the, I don't know, the ground effect going on there. But at the end of the day, when you slam this bad boy into the wall, it doesn't really matter which version you're driving. It just does not end well for the driver. Here we are. Oh, look at that. Look at all the different lights that make up that back light panel. And really, that's even, heck, there's probably even vehicles today that still have that, although I think they've pretty much kind of outgrown that particular look. But, I mean, heck, even Chargers, what was probably the, 2010 to 2015 version, somewhere in there, where the back end looked kind of like that, and it had the individual lights going around instead of the solid light bar. So that was in use for quite a while. All that to say, at least the back end is, in decent shape after these crashes so far. I don't know if we're going to see anybody who manages to hit the wall in such a manner that it affects the back end. But look at that. Oh yeah, laying down, burning some rubber in a front wheel drive. Oh, this is like, your grandma's car that you got souped up. Oh, the front end of the vehicle almost completely flat up against the windshield, as everything in that engine compartment has been pushed all the way into the passenger area of the vehicle. That is just sick. Holy cow. You talk about talk about shortening the wheelbase. That is, I mean, look at that. Look how long the front end is. Which, I mean, it's not like, 70s vehicle long, but still, it's got a pretty decent front end on it. But when this thing crashes into the wall at 90 miles an hour, look at that. It all folds back and, again, into the passenger compartment, and not just that, but also down into the ground, really. And that's why you see, like in that particular case, we could see where the vehicle had been up above the ground, obviously, and everything was shoved down into it as we move into the police Interceptor. Now, this one's got a bull bar on the front. Well, that's what we call it. I don't know what a busher pusher is. I've heard some people call it. But the bull bar, we'll see how the bull bar affects the damage of the vehicle. Oh, we hit it from the side. Whoops. And this bad boy decides he's going to end up in the tires. And look at that. It absolutely pushed the engine sideways so that now it is on an angle. We've got the passenger side of the passenger compartment completely ripped apart. The door popped open there, and just things not looking good. The driver, on the other hand, I think the driver was pretty okay because it was not a dead-on hit. But here we are. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Street-tuned. Flying down. I love the fact that the street-tuned is decked out in all white. This would be a standout vehicle for sure if you saw this cruising the streets. And ooh, this time we've got doors popped open. We actually even got some air as we lifted off. And look at this. We are sitting in the driver's seat, which is actually in the back seat at this point, because everything has been smushed into what was supposed to be where the driver was sitting. And Look how small that vehicle is now. I mean, even the wheels are already, are pushed up all the way into the passenger compartment up to those front seats. That would not be comfortable, to say the least. As we move along, we are on what's being called the safety car. It's the pace car. This is one of those, yeah, look at their 20th Belasco. Oh, yeah. This is one of those vehicles that would be like a collector's edition, although you'd probably take the, well, as I say, you'd probably take the light bar off, but we took care of that ourselves as we slammed into the wall. Again, we didn't hit it directly on. Look at the back end. Oh, that's just, the body is pushed up off of the frame just enough where it actually almost looks like it's a raked back end, but it's not. It's just the way everything went after crashing into the wall. As we cruise here, oh yeah, here we are. Take this bad boy on the track. Now we've got roll bars in the interior, and so we'll see if that helps things. Oh, crashing in. It definitely reduced the pushback, right? The push out, really, of the doors, or at least definitely on the driver's side. The front end still pretty much squished up, which I know roll bars are not going to affect what happens to the front end of the vehicle, but I will say the roll bars did a pretty good job of keeping the driver safe. Speaking of, we're now up to the race edition, and look at that. Oh, I'm loving the black and yellow. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, born and bred, grew up in Pittsburgh, and we are all about the black and yellow. Oh yeah, that is fantastic. Now the question is, will the fin on the back have any positive bearing whatsoever? If it does, you can't tell. We blew the door off the car. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing. This is destructive and destruction, and if there were people in the vehicle, they'd be in serious pain, but that's actually hilarious. We blew the door off. And look at that. Look how the frame is bent. Look at that. You see that? Oh, that is so cool. I'm pointing at the screen, like you can see. Yeah, you can see what my finger's doing. All right. How about the hill climb sequential in awesome orange? And I absolutely love those wheels, by the way. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, we are getting after it. Oh my goodness. What the? How fast are we going? 125 miles an hour into the wall. Yeah, definitely no problem with the doors. Look at the frame, all bent up. The body itself is also bent up. You see that the back end has some damage to it. The trunk is slightly popped, or at least, bowed up just a little bit. The whole body, the whole chassis is bent. So a Wendover crashing into the wall at 125 miles an hour, that's a problem. Now, we're going to finish things out here with the 10K. And let me see. I got to remember, how do I turn on the little... Oh, Shift N, just like if it was a light bar. Yeah, that's right. This is like the Knight Rider edition. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Tell you what, though, I don't think this is as fast as the hill climb. No, yeah, not quite. Well, but still, 100 miles an hour, we slammed in, broke the front end for sure. Now, where is the... Oh, there's the light bar. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore after getting slammed into the wall, in case you weren't sure. Well, there you go. That wraps up the Wendover edition of Crash Every Vehicle in BeamNG. It almost looks like a stormtrooper. That's hilarious. Anyway... Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to Hero of God, GamerGull, LosWilko, Connie C, and Zachary for supporting the channel on Patreon and through the channel memberships. Man, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you taking some time out to watch us do these crazy crashes in BeamNG Drive. I'm davidinark. Be sure to tune in next time for some more BeamNG Drive action. Whew. Have a great day.